Welcome back to Softcore History. I'm your host for the week, Dan Regester, joined as always by Rob Fox.
What's up?
Hey, dude. Early morning pod.
I know. Sick of working before noon. It's bullshit. I don't like it. I just want to be laying on my couch right now while my children play, and they're like, Dada, play with us? I'm like, no, I can't. I can't.
And we're joined again by the one and only Mr. America,
Yeah.
Scott Lopez.
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, this is the first time I've woken up before noon in like a year. I'm doing great. Night shift, dude. This is
You have an
terrible.
excuse.
This
You're
is
not
tough.
like a open mic comedian.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Who's just like a piece of shit. Who's like, yeah, it's my job. I go to open mics. I don't wake up before 1 o'clock. I do cocaine all night. It's a living.
And then, I do 5 mics and don't work on material ever. and I'm garbage because I moved to Austin for Kill Tony and I had one shot and I bombed on that, but everyone wants to book me because I was on a podcast.
And then dude, I want to like murder. I have to actively like say not interested in stand-up clips on like Instagram and shit now because it's all just crowd work. And I'm like, you lazy piece of shit.
Yep.
Tell a joke. Write a fucking joke. I can't stand it. If your fucking stand-up Instagram page is like mostly crowd work, you suck and you're garbage.
Isn't that to kind of keep your material secretive? Isn't that the idea?
I mean, just be writing constantly. Write jokes. If your whole job is to write material, keep writing new material. Don't just sit there and be like, so where are you from?
Old school comedians from like the 80s, like a Dice, he could get an hour. He'd have an hour of material and it would last him like 2 decades.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But like still, it's just like, it's so lazy. It's so lazy. I can't watch crowd work.
Just coast off it, baby.
It's the dumbest shit.
Imagine if we had a crowd for the podcast.
I would hate that.
Like, there's no topic today. We're just going to be like, you look like that.
Yeah.
You look like that.
You, sir, tell me history things.
Right. History. Here's a mystery for you. You look like if Teddy Roosevelt was gay. I did it. That's kind of like all Kill Tony or Tony Hinchcliffe does. I feel like though. It's just someone comes up and he's just like, you look like a black guy. Be up there and be like, you look like if Michael Jordan was in the Holocaust. And then everyone's like, oh, he said the Holocaust is so edgy. Oh! And then a fat guy comes up and he's like, you look like you were at Auschwitz, but you ate everyone. And everyone's like, oh!
I mean, that's a spot on impression of that show.
Just like it's the teeth. You look like if you look like you guarded a concentration camp.
This show is really just about Rob venting.
Yeah.
About anyone that's more successful
it's
than
too
he
early
is.
for him right now.
It
He's
is.
just
I'm
mad.
so angry right now.
He woke up and chose violence, dude.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to talk about people more successful than Rob.
Wow. Could be anyone.
It's an open, wide,
Yeah,
vast net.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about Mormons,
Okay.
the Mormons.
Because you watched a show.
Yeah. American Primeval.
Who hasn't watched it? It's
I haven't
great.
seen it yet, actually. I still need to watch it.
It's incredibly violent, so
Sick.
keep your
Love
kids
that.
away.
Is it like Bone Tomahawk level of violence?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I haven't seen Bone Tomahawk, but I imagine. A
Wow.
dude gets scalped and survived.
Okay. Bone Tomahawk goes hard.
It's pretty hard.
Okay.
Dudes are just catching arrows and bullets out of nowhere.
I love that.
But yeah, it's about Bringham Young, the Mormon Church, the Wild West.
Steve Young's great-great-grandfather.
Yeah.
NFL legend Steve Young.
We overlook that quite a bit.
Yeah. It really is odd. It's like, so you're the direct descendant of a cult leader whose cult is still quite successful.
They're
today.
bucking.
Yeah.
Probably never better. And honestly, one of the better cults because every Mormon I've ever met, incredibly nice.
Yeah, nice people. And they're good. They're a smart religion. They're like Catholicism in that they just buy real estate. You know what I mean? And say what you want about the Mormons, great churches.
Mm-hmm. And low
Respect.
key, they run a lot of like local politics in Arizona, Utah, still in that
Idaho.
West. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why Trey Parker says he's obsessed with Mormons because there's like a million of them in Colorado. Like, Utah's obviously the hub, but it spreads a little to the other.
And of course, we have a common thread. We love Orlando.
Yeah. You have that in common with them. Yeah.
It's like Mormon paradise.
Yeah, exactly.
Orlando, Florida.
Disney. I mean, that's like I've said before many times. There's a whole song in Book of Mormon about loving Orlando.
Yeah. They nail it.
Yeah,
They do.
they know what they're talking. They know what they're talking about.
But no, we're going to talk about specifically their Utah settlement and the Utah War
Okay.
in 1857 to 1858.
Utah War against what? The Utes?
The U.S. government.
Oh, against the U.S. government.
I think it
All
was
right.
against everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just whoever was in Utah, you just got murdered.
You
by
could
the
get it,
Mormons.
yeah.
Yeah.
You cross the Mormons, you could get it.
As soon as they got there, this is my land, dude. And you're like, what?
I feel like I don't know much about this war, but I feel like in general the U.S. government was probably like eventually like, whatever, it's Utah. Like,
Yeah.
they're not taking California, like fuck it.
Some presidents were. One
Yeah.
president specifically was not. And it's actually his blunder. Buchanan's blunder.
This is Buchanan's blunder. Okay.
Mhm.
Boy. On a long list, that's at the top.
James Buchanan has a long, just like CVS list of failures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one after
The
other.
worst U.S. president by far, by a mile.
There's
Anyone's like, oh, Joe Biden's the worst president in history. No.
Donald Trump's the worst president. You are an unserious person if you believe that.
Read a book.
Read a book.
Read a book.
But he sucked. And it also just is funny to me, like, that we don't know for sure, but he was probably gay. And gay.
Oh, he was a bachelor, Rob.
Yeah, a confirmed bachelor.
Maybe he was just crushing puss in the White House.
We don't know. We don't have those records.
Probably not. He's
Yeah.
probably gay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is just funny, like, that he'll never get claimed.
No, dude,
He'll
he
never
would
get
be a
claimed.
gay icon.
Yeah.
We should put that on the gays.
Yeah.
Like, you ran the country once.
Yeah, if you're serious, yeah, look what happened.
Led it into a civil war.
Yeah. And it's just dishonest though. Like you're not being an honest person if you're like you want to like call Lincoln gay or something. Like you need to claim Buchanan, or you're not being an honest person.
Right. And also, Lincoln's not gay.
He's not.
He was just wrestling with his boys. In those Lincoln log cabins.
Nothing's gay between the boys, dude.
No.
Nothing you can do with the boys is ever gay.
No. Well, Bringham Young and the Mormon settlers first set foot in Salt Lake Valley in July of 1847, after 17 turbulent years after the founding of the Church of Latter-day Saints by Joseph Smith in New York. Mormon polygamy and behavior was uncouth for most American society, and they were treated as social pariahs, chased off to the Rocky Mountain wilderness.
From Missouri. They tried to settle in Missouri. We were like, get the fuck out.
Well, that's my next bullet point here. You see, in 1838, Missouri Governor Lilburn Boggs issued Order 44, proclaiming the Mormons an enemy of the state that must be pushed out and exterminated altogether,
Now,
making it legal to kill anyone of the LDS on sight. That law was in effect until 1976.
yeah.
The Boggs dogs, dude.
Yeah.
Just going out there killing people, man.
You don't want to ask my dad what he was doing in 1975.
He's like, we got to get scalps.
We got to get him while we can. But I wonder if this is probably easy to look up, but I'm not going to, and who cares? But I wonder if Order 44, because we were talking about Star Wars before this, and General Grievous. It's Order 66 in
Yes.
Star Wars.
You think that was the kind of influence for Star Wars, for George Lucas? He steals everything.
Yeah. Maybe.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Come on now. Order 44, Order 66, going after a religious order.
Whoa. Jedi's our religion.
Yeah.
What?
What if Mormons had Jedi powers?
All the more reason to kill them because you're scared.
That's
Yeah.
why they're so powerful.
Yeah.
And think about it. They all live like Obi-Wan out in the fucking desert.
Huh.
Tatooine.
Did we just
man.
crack that Star Wars is actually about the Church of Latter-day Saints?
It's like, all right, it's Dune, but we'll throw a Mormon in. And what else? I don't know. He really did. It's just such a ripoff.
Why don't Jedis have like 27 wives then?
I don't know, but they all fuck. And they're not supposed to.
They're not supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they all do.
Joseph Smith and his followers set up shop in Illinois after being chased out of Missouri. A Mormon paper in their new settlement criticized leadership. This, again, a guy in their own church criticized Joseph Smith and his leaders for polygamy as ungodly and that the church had gone a little too far from their roots.
Their roots?
Mm-hmm. Which, you know, it was like an 8-year-old religion at this point.
Yeah.
Joseph Smith didn't take kindly to this criticism, and he literally burned the press to the ground. State officials had to come in and arrest Smith and his brother for inciting a riot and acts of treason against the state of Illinois.
Now, can you still get treason against a state? Can you commit treason against Nevada? Like,
I hope so. I want to find out.
I really want to find that out.
Yeah, I think if you go into the strip and just take the casinos for too much money,
Yeah.
they charge you for treason against Nevada.
Okay, we need to come up with a list of just like what gets you treason for every state. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I would choose like North Dakota because why would I ever go there?
yeah.
You can probably just steal a bunch of cows and then that's treason enough, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the states where there's more cows than people. So if you just take a bunch of cows, that's kind of all they got.
I believe all our missiles are up there, too.
Nah, I'll be fine.
Yeah, they're whatever.
They can't see me, dude. I can wear like a ponchos are really good against thermals and stuff.
You
I
just
got
start
it.
flying drones up in North Dakota. What are you doing up there?
Yeah.
Just a dronist.
Just a hobbyist.
Big
Yeah.
drone boy.
Just trying to get footage of your beautiful land.
And these silos, I'm going to paint them.
They knew right away it was a lie. It's not beautiful land.
Yeah, exactly. That guy's here to commit treason.
Yeah. Against us specifically.
During their transportation to prison, a local mob rises up and both Joseph and his brother are gunned down before ever seeing their day in court on June 27th, 1844. A succession crisis for church leader arises, and a certain sect splits off, but most accept the leadership of brother Bringham Young.
And we did an episode on that other sect.
August of 44. I'm going to get to it.
Okay.
Young planned to move a group in April of 1846, but had to leave a little bit earlier in February to cross the cold Mississippi River when local Illinois militias forced them out by gunpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, hey.
Time to go. Pack up.
You're going to cross that cold ass river right now, dude.
Fuck that. Although, actually, I mean, it depends on the year. It doesn't really do it anymore. But there's pictures from St. Louis back in the day of the Mississippi River, like, frozen over. And people just going out and walking on it and shit like that. I've never seen that. I would never do that.
Play hockey on the Mississippi River.
The ice is a little too jagged. It's like all these, like the ice flow just, like, jams up against each other. And you can just kind of, like, walk out on that. It feels like an easy way to die.
Oh, they couldn't have like a Mystery Alaska situation where they played the New York Rangers?
No, the Blues aren't playing a pond game on the Mississippi River anytime soon, to my knowledge. That would be sweet, though, and they're just like, oh, no, another player dead in the ice, like falling through. That's the hockey I would watch.
Yeah. Every sport should have the danger of dying.
Yeah. I mean, hockey's the closest. Hockey's the only sport where I've seen someone die on the ice.
Football used to always
terrifying.
happen. But
Die?
Teddy Roosevelt
Oh,
fixed it,
yeah, but that was a long time ago. Hockey, that happened 2 years ago.
You have literal knives on your feet.
Yeah.
That fucking footage, I forget who the Florida Panther goalie was, but he got his throat slashed. It still haunts me to this day.
And he like survived. There
He
was
survived,
so
yeah.
much blood. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, but everyone saw that clip.
Yeah, that's the word. I'd rather get tortured than get my throat slit. That sounds terrible.
That is honestly, I do have a fear of getting my throat slit. Like, if I could go the rest of my life without that happening, that'd be ideal.
I
I don't want to go out with my throat
I
slit.
have great news for you. Probably going to achieve that goal.
You can't promise me that. I'm going to go out violently, and that might happen.
Okay.
Dude, you have to keep the beard forever now as a
As
defense
protection?
mechanism, dude. Yeah.
It's like, where's the neck? Where's the jugular?
yeah.
I don't know.
They might just find an easier way.
I also have to keep the beard forever because I have no chin at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows what it looks like?
Could be glorious.
The 1,300-mile Mormon Trail took the church out of U.S. territory into ungoverned Mexican land and gave hope to an isolation that would allow them to practice their religion in peace.
What year was this?
This was 47.
Okay, so yeah.
Well, that was till a year later, when the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, where the land that they set up shop on to get away from American persecution, became property of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
But by the way, they're doing this while the war is going on. So they had to know, like, there's a decent chance this is America next year.
They're really cheering for the Mexicanos.
They're like, oh, please, God, Mexico, pull it out. Oh, pull it out.
Because they're like, Mexico doesn't even want to bother with us up there.
Yeah, they're like,
That's
what?
too far out of reach.
I'm just really hoping Scott can't land his fleet and march to Mexico City. Like, come on, man.
There's also a little thing that happens the same year that pops off.
Mm-hmm.
The California Gold Rush in
Yep.
1848.
Yep. Even though
Bad timing for them.
49 is, I guess, when everyone started moving out there, I guess.
Yeah, but
They find
48
it,
is
yeah.
where they find gold.
I'm just saying the 49.
49ers, they go out.
Yeah.
But 48 is actually the year.
Yeah.
So,
Word's got to spread.
right.
But I think the population influx was in 49, which is why it's people who moved there were they're 49ers.
Mm-hmm. So a bunch of get-rich-quick bros pass through and cause quite a disturbance to the Mormon church.
I feel like they could just make money off them. Little waypoint, Here's more stuff.
Like a Jim Bridger would do that
Yeah.
at his Fort Bridger.
Okay.
But the Mormons, they just wanted to practice their little religion.
Just be left alone in the desert.
Kind of.
To have they on their. It's funny that they wanted to turn into Hills Have Eyes people. They just kept trying to keep civilization away. They're like, no, we want to live in the hills. We want to have what's going to eventually be incest if it isn't already. Just because there's so many wives, you're not going to be banging your sister at one point.
I'm here to tell you, the Mormon Church were actually the original Libertarian Party.
I guess, kind of.
Kind of.
Just leave me alone to do whatever I want. Don't ask what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is such a thing as too libertarian, right? Like, I guess that just bleeds into anarchist eventually.
Or the sovereign citizen people.
With their Navy flags and shit.
Yeah, the worst.
I don't even understand how broken your brain has to be to believe that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to. It is funny, too, because you'll just be like someone who's, like, probably failed high school history, and then they're like, oh, but I figured it out. Figured out history now. Figured out, like, I skipped government class every day to smoke cigarettes and take pills. But, yeah, this brain knows how a government works.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Sure, buddy.
Well, I also read the book 1984.
Yeah. So you know a lot.
Mm-hmm. I know how this ends.
I never read that one in school. I just completely skipped it and never did the book report.
No one's ever actually read that book. They just said they did.
Yeah, okay.
They quote it.
They're like me, that makes sense then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt left out, but it feels good now knowing.
I think of all the books I was assigned to read in high school, I probably read like 4.
Same. Spark Notes
Cover to cover.
saved my ass in
Yeah.
so many situations.
You better believe I had no interest in cracking open the grapes of wrath. That just wasn't happening.
They tried making me read 2 books and do 2 book reports over the summer from sophomore to junior year.
Yeah, sweet.
They wanted me to do homework not in school hours. It was insane.
Bullshit. I did.
You think I'm going to read that French rag known as The Stranger? Thank you.
That is one of the books I read cover to cover. I did read The Stranger all the way through.
I got the gist of it.
It was just so interesting. Like, it was,
I don't care. I killed a man. I smoke cigarettes. Kill me.
I feel nothing. Why?
The only one I read was Of Mice and Men.
Because it's like 12 pages.
Exactly.
Yeah, some of those. So that's the thing. Like, Grapes of Wrath is a Steinbeck book that's like voluminous, but all his other books are like they're pamphlets.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Holocaust book, Night.
Nope.
Elie
That-
Wiesel.
yeah.
I think I read a chapter of that.
That was like 40 pages.
Yeah, it was really short. He was a little kid though. What's he gonna remember?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those numbers are misreported.
I'm trying to think. I definitely didn't do. What do you call it? That stupid J.D. Salinger, Catcher in the Rye. Didn't read that one.
Yep, same.
No.
I
Actually, one of the books I read in high school was Band of Brothers. That was cool.
read that on my own.
Whoa.
And I read Black Hawk Down like on my own. The other one I read was A Separate Peace and A Farewell to Arms. Those are like the only ones where I read it all the way through.
And then, of course, summer reading, like in elementary and middle school. Johnny Tremaine.
Yeah.
What happened to your hand, Johnny?
It's also just like sucks. Like, why have to? I mean, I'm sure a lot of these books are like classics, but I was like, I want to read Jurassic Park. Like when I was in like 7th grade, I was reading like Jurassic Park. I want to read that. I don't want to read some stupid book about a boy in the American Revolution. Gee whiz, mister. Are you marching on Boston? Shut the fuck up. I don't care.
Fuck you, little kid.
Yeah. I'm Johnny Tremaine.
So Young sent his advisors to D.C. to negotiate with the White House, proposing a giant state of Deseret, which would cover Utah, Nevada, Arizona, parts of California, and Oregon. Just a huge territory.
Just the desert. I like that as a state name, Deseret.
I think after what they believed was their kind of unofficial mascot, the desert rat.
Okay.
Yeah. They
That's
did
all
so.
they had for food.
Yeah, they just ate a bunch of desert rats.
Rat meat and then making love to 5 women. It's life.
They did so hoping they could at least govern themselves rather than have an outsider come in. President Millard Fillmore laughed at this request, but figured there was no harm in appeasing them and these religious weirdos with a much smaller and less desirable area of Utah. So you can have this fucking part of it.
Yeah, take it.
You can't have California or Oregon.
You absolutely can't have California. That's off the table. Bro.
Take the fucking actual desert.
Yeah, exactly.
He also appointed young governor because someone had to keep these freaks in line. It might as well be their own leader.
See, I think that's what happened with, I don't know if I said this on the show before, but I feel like I've told you this before, where like that's how Texans viewed Austin for the longest time. It's like so weird that the state capital of a very conservative state is so like liberal and weird. And I honestly, I think like Texan like boots with their suits Republicans were just like, hey, let the weird queers have their little fun.
It's the middle of the state, too.
They don't mean nothing. What?
It's the middle of the state. There's nothing here.
Yeah, there wasn't. There fucking wasn't. Like, it was just a little weird. Like, whatever. Let these little freaks do whatever they want. But then too many people started moving here, and now they're like, we got to lock this down.
And they started getting paddle boards and becoming too powerful.
Yeah.
They're fucking celebrating Eeyore's birthday.
Naked,
having nudists.
Naked at the park for Eeyore. Yeah. Those
So
are
dumb.
wild, though. Everyone smells bad there, though.
Yeah.
No one wears deodorant there.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah. That is also weird, like, naked at the park. I like, what? At where a kid is?
Yeah, just dong out.
Like, I'm just like, God damn it. And it's for a children's character, too.
Yeah, children don't know what it is.
Like
Eeyore's birthday, hell yeah!
you
And their
take your
parents
family to
probably
Eeyore's
don't know
birthday.
either, and they show up
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh my god!"
A bunch of like California people move here. They're like, oh yeah, dude, the thing for the kids, Eeyore's birthday. Oh my god.
Just dongs everywhere.
A bunch of naked white people with dreadlocks.
Like, I hate
Terrifying.
this. I hate this place so fucking much. Moving to Dallas.
The Utah Territory was created in the Compromise of 1850 thanks to a little thing called popular sovereignty. Utah passed legislation that made black and Indian slavery legal in 1852. Woo! 25% of the Mormons in that territory practiced polygamy, including Young, who over his lifetime had 56 wives.
My man.
It's too many ladies. It's too many women you have to hear.
I think back then you just didn't have to listen to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you still don't. But being the governor, like, hey, I have governor shit to do.
Or you just
leave me
delegate
alone.
a couple of your wives to handle the other wives.
You literally do.
You have like wife madams.
That's
yeah.
the in Big Love, like that's the thing. The oldest wife is like the head wife. She's in charge.
The main bitch.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but and they're all sister wives, but she's in charge. She runs everything.
The rest of the country saw this as gross immorality
Mormons are gross.
for stealing all the hoes. And it became a contentious political talking point in the 1856 presidential election.
What do you do though? I don't understand. Just like, okay, all right, buddy, you've got 7 wives. Great for you. But now there's 6 other dudes who have no wives. It feels like
It's a good ratio.
what?
That's the kind of ratio you want in a party.
What, 7 to 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but the problem is that there's another party where it's 6 to 0.
Just down the road, too.
Yeah.
Great party ratio, terrible for any type of warfare. All right, Dame, pick up a rifle.
Yeah, it's not what you want.
Republicans use this to their advantage, spinning the narrative of popular sovereignty, which was a concept for new territories to avoid the hot-button issue of the time, slavery, from entering the national discourse, and instead using it to attack the Democratic Party for protecting polygamy.
Hell yeah. So they're like, oh yeah, they just want it because they're pervs.
Kind of.
I mean, like,
They're like, yeah, you want... They kind of like mix polygamy and slavery into the same issue.
yeah, smart. It's good politics. Because nobody's going to be like, oh, woke pussies are talking about slavery again. Like, no, we're not talking about that. They're like that sex cult. That's what they're helping a sex cult. We don't care about slavery, sex, but they're all freaks. And they help the freaks.
Democrats scrambled to disassociate from the Mormons, believing the entanglement of issues could derail all the momentum for their sweet, sweet slavery.
How many Mormons were there? Like 10?
There's more than one.
Oh, all right.
There's a lot of Mormons.
There's a lot, but I feel like they are still a small sect, like all things considered.
James Buchanan ultimately won the election for the Democrats, but it was very much on his radar that he had a Mormon problem. Young had accumulated a vast amount of power in his short time in Utah and had his own paramilitary group called the Danites.
I mean, he's basically just Timothy Chalamet and Dune at this point, out in the desert.
Kind of.
A religious prophet.
Yep.
He's Paul Atreides.
Young echoed the opinion of many Latter-day Saints when he declared, "I love the government and the Constitution of the United States, but I do not love the damn rascals that administer the government."
What a cop-out.
Yeah,
I love
but saying-
America. I just hate every single person who runs it.
But saying rascals is pretty cool.
That is good. Yeah.
I like that. Bring that back.
Papers around the country were sensationalizing about the Wild West polygamy cult that threatened the very fabric of democracy. And it didn't help that other Mormon offshoots, like James Strang in Michigan, which we did an episode on, go ahead and check that out back in the catalog, were proclaiming themselves king on American soil.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Not to mention a number of federal officials claiming that they feared for their physical safety left Utah appointments for the East and came back with stories saying to the new president that the Mormons were nearing a state of rebellion against the country.
Why not? They want to build their own little religious fucking, like, theocratic, like, homeland. That doesn't surprise me at all. They're a weird cult. Like, you don't think Scientologists would do that if they could do that? Like, if they just, like, fortified Clearwater, Florida? That they wouldn't try to make a Scientology city-state?
They should build a wall
They should.
around Clearwater.
And you don't want
I mean, you have a lot of water, too. It's Tampa and Clearwater, that whole area is pretty spread out, so it's easy. There's a lot of bridges. You just kind of fence off.
And I mean, if you think, Muslim extremists are wild, just storming that Scientology compound will be a absolute nightmare.
What if
Well,
the
that's why they built
Scientologists
a
are...
second wall inside?
Like, if you,
What if they're right, though?
Scientologists,
Yeah. That's the biggest goof of reality.
like
the
they send
Scientologists
a
are
beam
actually
in, like the U.S. military
real
is
religion?
besieging Clearwater, and they send a beam into space to ask for help, and like the Marines are like landing on the beach, and just as they do, like a fleet of DC-9s enters the atmosphere and just starts lasering all these fucking U.S. troops to take Washington.
General Grievous comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Fucking slices up Donald Trump and declares fucking victory. L. Ron Hubbard, like a mist or like a light beam that's just L. Ron Hubbard that's the funniest.
He reassembles like he's the mummy.
Yeah, that's what they said with L. Ron Hubbard was that he like just entered a higher level of consciousness. Have you ever seen that video of them announcing L. Ron Hubbard's
Yeah,
death?
dude. He's in the 5D now.
Yeah, there's a video of Miscavige announcing L. Ron Hubbard's death. He's like, at 12:09 p.m. today, our glorious leader decided that there was nothing more in his human form that he could achieve, and he transcended his human body to a higher plane of existence. Like he was choosing to do it, not like
Dude,
L. Ron Hubbard
would
had,
you
like,
rather
8 cancers.
I want
Hang
that.
out on Earth as an old man or chill in Atlantis as a god.
And then people in the crowd are like, no! You hear like, oh!
Yeah, I hope someone says that at my funeral.
Yeah. Scott Lopez didn't die. He just found no more use for his fleshy body here on Earth.
Alcohol did nothing to him anymore. He must ascend to higher consciousness.
Buchanan could not let this fester. Under massive popular and political pressure, he decided to take decisive action against the Mormons soon after his inauguration on March 4th, 1857. Buchanan first decided to appoint a new governor in place of Bringham Young. The position was offered to several individuals who refused, and the president finally settled on Alfred Cummin during the summer.
They're all just like, that place sucks, and those people are creepy. There's gonna be like 80 blonde people outside.
They're gonna
my
murder
house
me.
Ready to murder
Why
you.
would I want to go out there?
You're just gonna like. It's just like a Children of the Corn situation.
While Young became aware that he lost his job through press reports, he received no official notification of his replacement until Cummin arrived in the territory in November of 1857, along with a nice little force of 2,500 Army troops
Yeah.
to build a post in Utah.
Yeah. I mean, can't go alone.
No.
You just like show up. You're like, hello, you're fired. I'm the governor now.
You don't do that to a cult.
No.
That dude's being hung from a tree.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young and the Mormon community feared a renewed persecution and possibly annihilation by a larger body of federal troops. Fearing the worst, Young ordered residents throughout Utah Territory to prepare for evacuation, making plans to burn their homes and property and stockpile food and stock feed. Guns were handed out and ammunition was ready to go. So it's like, everybody pick up your arms. We might have to fight.
Yeah. So, by the way, you said 2,500 men went to Utah?
Mm-hmm.
U.S. soldiers. For those who don't know or don't remember, there was not really much of a standing U.S. Army at this point. Like, we didn't have it like we do now where there's 1 million people in the standing army at all times or whatever. They really only mobilized major forces for wars, right? In 1860, that's when I looked it up because it would be easier to find. So the year before the Civil War, there were basically 15,000 people in the U.S. Army. And they sent 2,500 of them to Utah.
It's a good bit.
Yeah, it's a huge percentage of the Army went to Utah.
These gross freaks are going to need all of us there, man.
Or I said 15,000. I don't know if I might have said 1,500. 15,000. Yeah. So, yeah. Like an eighth of the Army or whatever like went to fucking...
That's wild.
Young responded by reactivating the Nauvoo Legion,
Oh, God.
which was the Mormon militia created during the conflict in Illinois.
Dude, what? How do you spell that?
Nauvoo. Nauvoo? I don't know.
Naboo?
V.
Whoa.
There's a V. There's
I
no
know,
B.
But Naboo.
Nauvoo.
How much was George Lucas taking?
It was under the command of Daniel H. Wells and consisted of all able-bodied men between the ages of 15 and 60. Young ordered the Legion to harass federal troops and cause delays in their movement, as he planned to buy time for the Mormon settlements to prepare for either battle or evacuation. An alliance with the Indians was central to Young's strategy. If they were to go to war, they decided to intermarry between the natives and the Mormons.
Well, that's how you solve the 6 guys with no wives problem, I guess.
Get yourself an Indian wife.
Yeah. Like, I took all of the white ones, so...
With tensions high, this is kind of where the majority of the deaths happen. Not actually between the U.S. Army and the Mormons, but anyone that kind of was passing through got some.
Like, you're just, like, wandering through. You're like, well, I'll try to make it in California way. And
Wrong time, buddy.
Yeah.
Wrong time, wrong place, because tensions were high, and the Mormons were a little trigger happy at first.
you get spooked, you know?
They were.
And when you give a 15-year-old a gun,
And they've already...
and you're like, hey, the apocalypse is coming.
Yeah, they've already moved like 4 times at this point.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, this is going to happen again.
God, what a nightmare of being in an army with, like, you're 15 and like, you just, like, have old... First off, every situation is like a YMCA locker room. You're just seeing old dick and balls everywhere. And secondly, like, can you imagine just, like, watching an old man bleed out from a bullet wound? Like, it would just be somehow even grosser than, like, a healthy person doing it. Like, I'm demanding for God. He's just like, and you're just, like, barely in puberty. Like blood. Just, I don't know why, but it would bother me more to watch an old, gross person bleed out than a young, healthy person.
They've pierced my lung. Dear heavens.
With tensions high, this unfortunate group of immigrants, known as the Baker-Fancher wagon, Caught a lot of hostility from the Mormons. They believed that the Mormons at least believed this group was ingrained with the military scouts, and the local Mormon militia agreed to form a plan of attack on this group as they rested in the Mountain Meadows. The Mormon militia wanted to give the impression of tribal hostilities rather than Mormon.
They want to make it look like Indians.
Yes.
Okay.
They
So once
persuaded
again,
they persuaded the local tribe to join them with a larger group of LDS disguised as natives in the attack on the wagon train.
what a fun little Boston Tea Party. But once again, just like in Star Wars, where the stormtroopers tried to make it look like it was sand people that took out Luke's aunt and uncle. Yeah. I think that George Lucas just read this and read Dune and was like, but lasers. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, you didn't know about the Mormon lasers?
Enlighten me.
No.
Yeah.
During the militia's first assault, the travelers fought back, and a 5-day siege ensued. Eventually, fear spread among the Mormon leaders that some immigrants had caught sight of the white men who would wear hoods. So they actually show this in American Primeval. They kind of look like Klansmen.
Yeah.
Well, they have the bags over their head.
They're like sacks of flour over their head with eye holes.
It's the same thing as the Klan scene in. It's not even the Klan, but Django Unchained, the lynch mob scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Jonah Hill and
where they're cutting the eye
I can't
holes.
see fucking shit out of this thing.
William H. Dame of the Mormon militia orders his forces that since, everyone saw them,
can't leave any witnesses.
Can't. So by this time, the travelers were running low on water and provisions. And the Mormons were like, hey, maybe some of them think that it's the tribe still. Let's go in as Mormons, waving our white flags like, hey, we're here to help.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They go in, wave white flags. They're like, hey, we wish to deal with the natives and you. All you have to do is give them some of your cattle, some of your supplies. They'll let you move on to California, safe passage. They're like, oh, yeah, that sounds like a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good deal for
Anything
us.
to get out of here.
Yeah, we need to get the fuck out of the meadows, right?
Yeah.
So they lay down their guns, give the guns to the Mormons, and they march out of the area, out of the camp a little bit. And, 120 of those Arkansas natives that were moving west, those immigrants, they're executed.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, they're all executed by the Mormon Church.
Men, women, and children.
Men, women, and children over the age of 6. They allow 17 kids under the age of 6 to live.
Perfect. Can you imagine?
And I believe they just kind of like.
And this was an army scouting party.
I think they scooped the kids up for the Mormon Church.
After how many
Probably.
days do you realize it's not an army scout unit, and you're just like, let's just fucking kill them anyways? That's
Man, there's
crazy.
a lot of toddlers in that cavalry unit.
They're getting crafty.
Are we sure? But can you imagine, like, you're just like a 7-year-old and someone puts a fucking musket to the back of your head and blasts your brains out the front of your fucking face, and the reason is basically like, hey, sorry, buddy, I don't really want to do this, but I want to fuck 8 wet pussies legally, and the only way I can fuck 8 wet pussies legally is to blow your fucking head off.
And listen, it's nothing personal, but your dad saw my face.
Yeah. And
We can't let that
Yeah.
fly. We already have problems with the current U.S. administration. If this got back to them, boy, howdy.
yeah.
But your 6-year-old
Are we in
sister,
trouble?
she's coming with us. So sorry, buddy, you missed the cut by a year.
Yeah, how old are you? 7? Ooh, someone made a mistake teaching you how to count.
The next month, LDS members also arrested and lynched 6 California travelers believing they were U.S. spies. This would happen a couple times. In total, the majority of the people that die in this conflict are just
have nothing to do with
have
it.
nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only collateral damage.
Mhm.
And they're like, gosh, it's just. I know the U.S. Army
Because they're just bugging out over the U.S. Army being there.
I know the U.S. Army sent a humongous percentage of its total force here. It's just so weird how none of the ones we run into ever wear uniforms. Sneaky.
One of the big players in the lynching of the 6 Californians was Wild Bill Hickman. He's portrayed in the show.
Hickman,
Yeah.
not Hickok.
No, it's Wild Bill Hickok.
I know. I'm saying
Yeah,
that. It's just funny that there was Wild Bill Hickok was 40 years later. I'm just saying it's funny that there's another Wild Bill Hick.
Yep.
Yeah, this guy, on the show, he looks like he's freaky as fuck.
Is that Taylor Kitsch?
No.
Okay.
Taylor Kitsch is he's a white that's adopted by natives. Yeah, kind of like he's not a real person.
Okay.
He's created for the show.
Okay.
This is just a Mormon freak that has like mutton chops.
Okay.
But they don't grow very well.
Ooh, patchy.
Yeah. In early October, Legion members burned down Fort Bridger so it could never fall into the hands of the U.S. Army and provide a comfortable base for them out west. This is also shown in the show.
Okay. So they take out the fort. People in there, I assume?
In the show, they buy the fort, and there's kind of like, it's kind of up to debate with historians whether or not they actually offered Jim Bridger money for it, or if they just burn it down.
Okay.
I think they might have just burned it down.
They're like, get out, we're burning it.
A few days later, 3 large Army supply trains that were trailing the main Army detachments were burned by Mormon cavalry, led by Lot Smith. Horses and cattle were liberated from the supply trains and taken west by the militia.
I'm just annoyed that I haven't heard the name Romney yet. Like, I want one of Mitt Romney's ancestors to just be scalping children, I guess. I don't know.
What if they were kind of like the Mormon version of draft dodgers?
Oh, yeah. Well, Romney, I think, grew up in Michigan, but I don't know if...
So maybe he's part of James Strang's
Yeah, I don't know what the deal
little
is with
thing.
that.
Few, if any, shots were fired in these exchanges, and the Army's lack of cavalry left them more or less open to Mormon raids. The frustration would build.
Oh, they sent infantry? The Army?
No, they just kept stealing their fucking horses.
Oh, okay.
That's embarrassing,
Yeah,
dude.
you just not. It's like getting your tank stolen or something.
Yeah.
Can't let that fucking happen.
Colonel Edmund Alexander mounted roughly 100 men on Army mules to combat the Mormon militia. In the early morning of October 15th, this jackass cavalry had a run-in with Lot Smith's command and fired over 30 bullets at the Mormons from 150 yards. No one was killed, but one Mormon took a bullet through his hat band, and one horse was grazed.
Bad shots. Although 150 yards is pretty tough for...
Were those smoothbore still back
yeah,
then?
that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I mean, they were
sure.
using rifled muskets primarily in the Civil War, like 3 years later, but I don't know how prevalent it was.
Yeah.
Presumably, they're using a lot of old shit.
Yeah.
Because typically, like in World War II, at the beginning of World War II, the Marines, they show this in the Pacific, but the Marines at Guadalcanal at first, they were rocking Springfields and shit. They didn't get the M1 Garens right away.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know the Confederates had quite a few smoothbores at the beginning of the war just because they had to get something.
Yeah.
I actually do wonder, though, I'll look it up real quick, if the primary weapon in the Mexican War was a smoothbore musket or if they had rifled it by that point. Let me check.
Important detail. We need to know it.
I'm curious.
I mean, how bad of shots were they? You know,
Yeah.
If it's a smooth bore, okay, we allow it. If not, they just sucked.
I wonder if they trained a lot. Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, how much do you have to like make? Is it like, you have to make your own like, ammo, like he did in the Patriot?
Yeah,
like melting his.
They did do that a lot. We did an
I don't wanna
episode.
do that.
Were you on the episode we did where they were talking about? Oh no, you weren't. So for the Battle of St. Louis, we did this episode on that. This was Revolutionary War, but at first, when the city was defending itself, they didn't have any ammo, so they were just like, yeah, I guess we're just loading pebbles into our smoothbore muskets.
Damn. Yep.
It looks like they used a smoothbore in the Mexican War.
All right.
On October 16th, Joseph Taylor and William Stoll of the Nauvoo Legion encountered a camp in the fog ahead of them. Thinking it was their men and not realizing it was the detachment of the U.S. Army soldiers, they were captured and taken to be questioned by Colonel Alexander. Taylor and Stoll gave exaggerated accounts of 25 to 30,000 Mormon militia men camped up in the canyon to repel the army if they were to pass through. This spooked the army. They didn't believe those numbers, but they're like, let's not even try to go this way.
These people are fucking crazy. Also, I mean, you don't even want to have the same number of people if you're attacking a different place that you're not based out of.
And you're just getting picked apart from the top of the canyons.
Yeah, like sand people, like the Tusken Raiders in
Stop making Star Wars references, man.
All I can picture now is a Mormon like on top of a big rock shooting at an army wagon and then going
Their wives are like dancing in circles in the background, holding hands.
The wives are the Jawas. They go in after and they're like
In early November, Joseph Taylor escaped Camp Scott and returned to Salt Lake City to report conditions of the Army to Brigham Young. November 21st, Alfred Cummin, the new governor, sent a proclamation to the citizens of Utah declaring them to be an open rebellion. And a lot of just kind of back and forth between the Army and the Mormon militias happened. No one really dies in the conflicts. It's a lot of...
no one who's supposed to.
Yeah, it's a lot of posturing.
Yeah.
So the real deaths of this entire conflict come from that giant wagon raid where they executed 120 people from Arkansas.
So that they could keep having a couple wives.
And then they lynched 6 other people from California.
Right.
And they burnt down Fort Bridger.
Just a
Effective techniques, dude.
ridiculous group of people.
President Buchanan came under pressure from Congress to end the crisis. In February 1858, Senator Sam Houston of Texas stated that a war against the Mormons would be one of the most fearful calamities that had befallen the country from its inception to the present moment.
I mean, the guerrilla wars against the Indians in the West in the desert were bad enough.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not even religious fanatics.
The president sent an official peace commission offering a free pardon to the Mormons if they would submit to government authority. Brigham Young accepted Buchanan's terms and pardon, although he denied Utah had even rebelled against the U.S.
He's like, I'll take the pardon, but I didn't do anything. I didn't do it. But whatever.
I didn't kill any troops, technically.
I didn't kill a single U.S. troop.
Just stole their horses.
Yeah, I mean, that
fucked
kid...
the train up.
There was this one kid, and he was dressed up like a cavalry soldier, like, for fun. You know? But
Couldn't trust him. He was a scout.
yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out he wasn't. Oops, our bad.
Whoopsie.
He was probably like, where are they from? Arkansas? I don't even know if that's going to be part of America in a year, so fuck it. Yeah, here's your pardon.
But accepting this pardon and accepting these terms kind of made Brigham Young a little bit more unpopular in his own church. Kind of lost clout.
Oh, they didn't want to make a deal.
No.
There were hardliners that were like, how dare you?
Oh, for sure.
Fucking
There's always
assholes.
religious fanatics.
Yeah, like, no, let's keep fighting. Let's just keep fucking going, you
crazy.
pussy.
Well, they didn't
What'd
take...
you do? Secure us land?
They didn't really take casualties, so they maybe thought they were
Yeah.
invincible. They're like, we're
Yeah.
protected by God in this land, this mountain land of Zion.
So let's keep going. Yeah. Meanwhile, Brigham Young's like, yeah, I should probably take this deal before they send the rest.
Before
of the
they
army out
actually
here.
kill me.
Yeah, before they really try.
In the end, negotiations between the United States and the Church of Latter-day Saints resulted in a full pardon for the Latter-day Saints, except those involved in the Mountain Meadow murders.
Oh, good.
So they got executed by firing squad like 20 years later.
20 years later?
Yeah, because there's this little thing called the Civil War that happens.
Wow. I'm surprised they even tracked him down, is all I'm saying.
The investigation takes a while.
All right.
How do you even find them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the 1870s.
It's kind of sick, though. It's like executing Nazis when they're 90.
Yeah, going to Argentina and finding some dude.
Flip the switch, put them on the chair.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say,
Seeing an old man just...
yeah. Sometimes I do feel
convulsing.
bad for some of those Nazis that
is that
get.
Parkinson's or is that the electric chair?
Yeah, we don't know. No, electric chair's not on yet. There was this one Nazi I did feel bad for. I probably shouldn't, but it's just hard to look. It's hard to look at like an old lady and be like, "You bitch."
I know. At a certain point, it's like you got away with it.
Yeah, because she was like a she was like a secretary or something, and I was just like, she probably deserved it, but I was just like, how much power did this woman really have?
Seeing like a 90-year-old
Yeah.
woman though swinging as she's being hung.
Yeah, exactly.
They just sent her to jail. They didn't kill her, but it's just like, what did she do? What did she even have a choice in? But whatever, fuck her.
No.
I was just like, boy, that's rough.
Honestly, the hardest thing you could say before you be executed is what Saddam Hussein did.
What?
I think he just told the guy to shut up. He's like, get on with it.
Yeah, let's just go, dude.
I kind of have respect for Saddam for that.
Hell yeah, dude. Saddam fucks.
Conflict between the Mormons and the federal government, particularly over the issue of polygamy, would continue for nearly 40 years before Utah was finally made a state in 1896, and perhaps was not fully resolved until the Smoot hearings of 1904 to 1907. One consequence, though, kind of little fun fact, little tidbit you can take away from this. The Utah War directly created the famous Pony Express.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So Lot Smith and the Nauvoo Legion burned roughly 52 wagons belonging to the outfitters of Russell, Majors, and Waddle. The government would never reimburse the outfitters for their losses, and in 1860, they came together and formed the Pony Express.
What, to just make a business to get their money back?
Mhm.
Okay.
So, yeah, you get the Pony Express from this.
Sweet.
You get 120 dead just travelers,
Yeah.
just immigrants
Trying to find a better life.
trying to go get gold.
Yeah.
Nope, they were scouts, dude. Don't listen to the propaganda.
And then the hill people come out.
You get a bunch 17 like 6 or under kids being forced into the Mormon church, I guess.
Yeah, I think they live their lives as Mormons after that.
Or maybe even natives.
I'd prefer the native one, to be honest, if I had to choose. Over Mormon, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I'll be an Apache. Let's go.
Yeah, teepees are cool.
Yeah, it's cooler than whatever these weirdos.
I'll be a
are.
Ute.
Yeah, hard preference on that.
And that is the story of the Utah War. What did you guys learn today?
I learned that even though the U.S. pardoned the LDS, Missouri was still like,
Nope.
fuck you until 1970.
It's on site.
That's
Yeah.
so funny, dude. That is insane. Missouri's like, I don't care what about that pardon, dude.
I
Not in
wonder
my
if
country.
you could have gotten away with it. It's like 1963. You just blow a Mormon's brains out.
Oh, dude.
In St. Louis.
If it was before civil rights, 1,000% you could have.
And then just like that law, like your lawyer, just your Lionel Hutz just comes in and he's like, Your Honor, well, you're simply following Order 44.
We should praise this man, actually.
Nobody told us to stop. Yeah, there was definitely one guy, like the Japanese soldier, that was found years later that thought World War II was still happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
more than
definitely
one.
dudes in the Ozarks just being like, yeah, dude, it's on site.
Just like my grandpappy told me. And then the Mormons come in.
You collect yourself a scout. You get paid.
That's so funny.
All I learned is that more of what I already knew is that James Buchanan soft on rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah, he acted and then folded immediately.
Folded. It wasn't even losing.
Nothing happened.
And was just like, I'm sorry, here you go.
Nothing happened in the Utah War.
They just took some horses
But that
and
does make-
destroyed a train.
That does make sense for, how when the South started seceding too, because he was clearly with Utah. He was just like, I don't want to deal with this. And then, Lincoln gets elected, but he's still president in his lame duck period. And states start seceding, and apparently he's just like, I don't want to deal with this.
Also, the fact that popular sovereignty gets kind of mixed with polygamy, that kind of indirectly causes the Civil War. Because it fucks with the whole slave argument.
Yeah.
It devalues it. Well, I mean, back then.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes it a tougher position to
Yeah.
defend.
Where they're like, all right, we're cool with slavery, but multiple wives.
Yeah, no, I
That's a
actually love
crazy
that.
line to cross.
That's actually a clever argument if you can't get people to be against slavery.
Shouts to the old school Republicans, man.
Dude, because it is just like, it's like Pandora's box, right? It's like, okay, popular sovereignty, sure, you want it for slaves, but what else is it going to allow?
Mhm.
Same thing with it's not a great example, but there are people when gay marriage was legalized, they'd be like, what's next? You can be allowed to marry your dog?
Yeah.
No. It's illegal to fuck a dog.
Shouldn't be, but it is.
No, it should be.
Should be.
A dog
Why?
can't consent.
A dog can't consent to that.
You can fuck a dolphin. They're intellectual
A
enough.
dolphin can consent. Yeah, I agree
think
with that.
Dogs can, man.
Mm-mm. Dogs are not quite on dolphin or pig level.
Yeah, can a pig consent? Many are asking.
Tune in next week to find out.
An elephant sure can,
Yeah,
but go and try.
yeah.
Try that.
That's a funny.
Elephant never forgets.
It's a funny sketch we should never shoot. It's like an elephant at a sexual assault trial. It's like, you recall the events of the night of June 8th.
Very much so.
Yeah, they're like, no, the elephant's the rapist, so he lies like, I don't remember where I was. It's like, you, an elephant, do not recall the events, and yet you boast that an elephant never forgets. Your Honor, I rest my case.
Dude, there's cases in India where like an elephant murders somebody or like an entire village, and then as they're kind of mourning and having their funerals, the elephants come back.
Yeah, the elephant crashes the funeral.
Just stomps the corpse.
That animal's smart enough to consent. Absolutely.
Who's today's Hitler?
Everyone involved in the raid that killed 120
Yeah.
randos.
Yeah. Anyone killing kids so they can have fucking 3-ways, I guess.
That's the thing too. Only 25% of Mormons actually practice polygamy.
Only 25. That's so basically
Still
like
probably a lot of people.
you're a
That's
little
a lot of people. Yeah.
you're a little bitch boy if you only have one wife. Only having one wife is like being a 40-year-old virgin. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
you don't fuck.
It's essentially you're like Lafayette in French society,
Yeah.
where he didn't cheat on his wife. He loved his wife, and that's why he ends up in America, because all the French noblemen were like, "We don't trust you. You don't cheat on your wife."
Yeah.
Made love
That's
to
wild.
one teenager in this court. What is wrong with you, huh?
And thank you for that, France, because Lafayette was a big part of the American Revolution.
Baller.
That's right. Yeah.
He's the man. But yeah, that is today's episode on the Utah War and kind of a brief overview of the Church of Latter-day Saints. Did you learn today? Did you learn a lot?
Yeah. I mean, I learned that James Buchanan was even more of a bitch than I thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
And George R.R. Martin stole a
George
bunch
Lucas.
of... Same guy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Stole from Dune.
Oh, yeah.
and the
Star Wars
Mormons.
is completely inspired by Dune and Mormons.
You can't disprove that.
You can't.
All you nerds out there coming at me because I said General Grievous was in Attack of the Clones. Like, surely there's a small part where he's mentioned.
No.
Yeah.
No, which is why I remember watching that movie and being
Deleted
like,
scene.
who the fuck is this guy? They're like, General Grievous, you know. And I'm like, I don't know. He wasn't in any of the other movies.
They didn't add him in, like, deleted scene or
Right.
when they redo it
Yeah.
for the 100th time.
Just never mentioned once. They're like, oh, this guy's like the best general in the galaxy. News to me.
Gets fucking washed by Obi-Wan in 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
is a total nothing burger.
Yeah,
Does not matter. He's in the cartoon,
I guess.
maybe.
Who could say?
I don't know. I don't care either.
No, I don't either.
So stop chirping me. You fucking nerd.
Go Birds.
Go Birds today. We're recording this right before the Super Bowl. Hopefully I'm happy as this comes out. We'll see. Anyway, we love you guys. Make sure to check out the Patreon, patreon.com/softcorehistory. And yeah, we love you guys. Leave a review, 5 stars, please, and thank you if you can. It really helps us move up the charts on Apple and Spotify. And Scott, we love you. Thanks for coming.
Love you guys, too. Thank you very much.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at LastRowLopez. And I am doing a hot dog counter for the whole year, so I'm very excited for that. I've had 9 so far.
9. It's February.
I know. I'm slacking, but I'm probably going to hit like 200.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Okay.
So if you want to, stay tuned for hot dog content.
What is it? You're eliminating like 3 minutes of your life every time you ingest a hot dog?
I'll do 400 by the end of this year.
Let's go. You don't need to live that long.
No.
You get a glizzy in that mouth.
Dude, glizzed up, best feeling ever.
You essentially want your body to be a hot dog by the time you die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
Roll
want to
me
be
up
one
in
big
bacon,
preservative.
eat me up. Yeah.
You should have your coffin should be a bun that closes this way
Genius.
instead of like lid whatever. It's hinged at the bottom.
It should be the Wienermobile.
And instead of like throwing flowers when I'm buried, you put like mustard and ketchup.
Yeah,
and
I'll throw
grilled onions.
relish on you. Yeah.
Wasn't that a whole thing with Oscar Mayer? They were offering the job to drive the Wienermobile
I think so.
a couple years ago. You should have that, dude. That was your true calling.
Yeah, I think I had to move to California for that or something weird.
No, you're going nationwide. You're going city to city,
I'd be the hot dog.
spreading the good news.
Yeah.
Like Bringham Young.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rob, where can people find you? I know you're putting out your old school sketches.
Yeah. Rob Fox 3 on Instagram.
I want to give you a little love for that.
Oh,
You're repurposing a lot of TFM content that I'm not in, but it's fine.
you're in some of it.
Some of it.
You'll be in one or two of them eventually when they get put out.
I was a role player.
Yeah. At the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sketches are doing well. We're gonna shoot some new sketches at the beginning of March.
Yeah, we're shooting sketches. I'm going to show off my acting.